Who's here?
I already said that.
Oh, I didn't know you saw it.
Put your goals up there. Goals.
Hmm?
You want to talk? She wants you to talk about your goals.
Like what goals?
Don't ask me
Like what I
because
want
you
to be in
already.
life, or like
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know.
Besides the 5 cars that you want to buy.
Didn't you say you wanted to play for the NBA?
NFL.
NFL. He knows. He knows exactly what to say. He's trying to ask faster.
I don't talk like that.
Yeah, right. You just talk on social media. Is this the lady? That's the lady.
Picture. So sad. So sad.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Coast Warrior School District School Board meeting for Tuesday, April 26, 2022. Agenda item 1B, reading of the mission statement. The mission of the Coast Warrior School District, rich in diversity and committed to excellence, is to create innovative educational experiences which are funded by the taxpayers, supported by the community, delivered by dedicated teachers and administrators to ensure all students will become responsible, contributing global citizens. Agenda item 1C, advisement. By notice of the President, board members are advised that all votes shall be regarded as roll call votes. The minutes shall also note that public notice was given for this meeting in accordance with Act 93 of 1998, Section 1. School board meetings shall proceed in accordance with school board policy. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Rob Fisher.
Here.
Brandon Roan.
Present.
Carvel Brown.
Here.
Holly Charest.
Here.
Andrew Finkbonner.
Here.
Becky Harlan. Here. Mary Ann Harris. Here. Amelia Mills.
Here.
Jennifer Schott. Here. Elijah Hudnell. Allison Shrivert.
At this time, would everybody please stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Color Guard, present the colors. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Moving on to agenda item number 2. To my colleagues, are there any additions, deletions, or modifications to this evening's agenda? Additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda this evening? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 3A, approval of the minutes. Recommended motion that the Board of School Directors approve the minutes for the March 22nd, 2022 school board meeting subject to any additions, deletions, modifications, or clarifications. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, call for the vote, please.
Jennifer Schott.
Yes.
Brandon Roan.
Yes.
Andrew Finkbonner.
Yes.
Rob Fisher.
Yes.
Becky Harlan.
Yes.
Holly Charess.
Yes.
Mary Ann Harris.
Yes.
Amelia Mills.
Yes.
Harvell Brown.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Agenda item 3B, approval of the minutes. Recommended motion that the Board of School Directors approve the minutes for the April 12, 2022 special school board meeting subject to any additions, deletions, modifications, or clarifications. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, call for the vote, please.
Becky Harlan.
Yes.
Harvell Brown.
Yes.
Amelia Mills.
Yes.
Mary Ann Harris. Yes. Rob Fisher.
Yes.
Andrew Finkbonner.
Yes.
Jennifer Schott.
Yes.
Brandon Roan.
Yes.
Holly Charess.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Agenda item 4A, public comment on agenda items. The board has requested all persons making comments on agenda items to list their name, address, telephone number, and motion items on the sheet provided. There is a 3-minute time limit per person. The board does not take action or discuss items not appearing on the agenda. The board values public comments and wishes to convey that although board members cannot discuss items that are not on the agenda, they listen carefully and appreciate and value input from the public. Ms. Ortiz, your agenda item is an adjudication. So we'll certainly entertain any thoughts that you may have about that, but I don't believe this is an agenda item this evening. So we'll take those comments at the end of the meeting. Lori Shannon Bailey.
Good evening. Again, I want to express my disappointment in the adjudications. I understand that adjudications are supposed to include alternatives to education or alternative education. For some reason, all of them do not. And I don't understand how is it that they all don't include alternative education. And so that's what bothers me about these adjudications. If all of these, and I think we're looking at least 40 some odd, I'm losing count now, I'm getting so depressed, I don't want to focus on the number. But if you tell me that all of these adjudications end up in programs like the Lincoln Center, then I will be a happy camper, or programs similar to the Lincoln Center. And I spent about an hour on a Zoom call with the Lincoln Center, and I'm very impressed with it. I was impressed with it when they did the presentation back in the fall, and Brenda did encourage me to connect with them, and I am scheduled to do a tour. So I'm very, very happy that we are using our taxpayers' dollars to do that. But for some reason, some of the students get slipped through the cracks, and I don't know how that happens. And that's what bothers me about this program. The other thing that bothers me, and I've said this before, is the adjudication is not the only answer. And it bothers me that a school district, I don't want to use the word wealth because we're not a wealthy school district, but we do have a lot of resources. We all know that Chester County is the wealthiest county in the whole state of Pennsylvania. This is a pretty big state. So while I'm thankful that the one adjudication was reversed at the last board meeting, it just breaks my heart that we keep going in this direction. And so as long as you keep doing this, I'm going to keep coming here to these board meetings, letting you know that I'm highly disappointed that you seem to just be focused on these adjudications. And to that end, I'm sure you're going to raise our taxes. I would ask that you all please make sure that you're crossing the T's and you're dotting the I's, that you're making sure that we don't let students slip through the cracks in terms of the adjudications, and making sure that they do get in programs like the Lincoln Center, Concerned, or whatever other programs that you all have for our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shannon Bailey. Moving on to agenda item 5A, executive session. Executive sessions were held on March 28th, April 11th, and April 25th, 2022 for legal and personnel reasons. Student representatives reports. Ladies.
Okay, sorry about that. Good evening. My name is Allison Shriver, and I am the junior class representative. I'd like to start my report by telling you about some of the academic things happening on campus right now. It is testing season here on campus. The 8th graders are taking their PSSAs. 9th through 11th graders are taking their Keystone exams in biology, algebra, and literature. The Keystone exam for 10th and 11th graders will take place during the week of May 16th. AP test exams are also right around the corner. starting next week on May 2nd and concluding 2 weeks later on May 13th. Good luck to our AP students as they test to earn college credit. Keep up your hard work, the finish line is near. Now I would like to discuss some extracurricular activities that have been happening recently. Last Saturday, April 23rd, the class of 2023 celebrated their junior prom, which was themed Midnight Rose Garden. It was a great night for all that attended. A huge thank you to Mrs. Claypool and Mrs. McKim and the junior class cabinet for all of their hard work and planning. Last Saturday was also JROTC's annual military ball at the country club. Thank you again to everyone who attended. Finally, I would like to conclude my report by informing you of the many exciting spring concerts that are coming up. The vocal music concert will be held on May 6th at 7 p.m. in the Cash Auditorium. The instrumental music concert will be held on May 13th at 6 p.m. in the Intermediate High School's gym. And finally, the orchestra concert will be held on May 20th at 7 p.m. here in the Cash Auditorium. Mark your calendars and come out to support our students and hear some great music. That concludes my portion of the report. Thank you. I will now turn it over to Alasia.
Good evening. My name is Alasia Hudnell, and I'm your senior class school board representative. I would like to start my portion of the report by acknowledging some of our spring sports accomplishments so far this season. The track team is preparing for competition in the Penn Relays being held this weekend at Franklin Field at the University of Pennsylvania. Good luck to all of the competitors. Also, the boys lacrosse team recently had an exciting triple overtime victory against Avon Grove High School. They won by a final goal scored by Owen Ellis in the final seconds. Congratulations on a well-deserved victory. Yesterday, Monday, April 25th, the girls softball team held their annual Pink Out game, raising money for breast cancer research and prevention. Ms. Groff throughout our ceremonial first pitch in the memorial of Carrie Rissel Sorber, a longtime CASD teacher. The girls accomplished a successful night in raising funds and awareness for a worthy cause. As the year comes to an end with only 30 days left, the Tularia yearbook will be distributed to students on Thursday, May 26th, and the members of our senior class cabinet are busy working on planning for the upcoming senior prom, which will be held on Friday, June 3rd in the Cash Gym. This event will include the Cash Prom Parade. This wonderful ceremony event will begin at 6 p.m. This concludes my portion of the student report. Thank you.
As always, ladies, thank you. And Allison, you mentioned about the junior prom. I did not attend personally, but I certainly did see pictures, and I was very, very impressed. Your fellow students were dressed impeccably. The decorations were incredible. I thought I was looking at the senior prom, Mrs. Snyder, at first when I looked at those pictures. But job well done by the junior class cabinet and its advisors. And of course, you also mentioned the junior ROTC ball. Dr. Dunlap, you did attend that, correct?
Yes, I did.
How many times were you sent to the grog?
I went to help put that together. I was able to maintain the protocol.
Very good, very good. Job well done, ladies, thank you. Moving on to agenda item 7A, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Dunlap.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Good evening, members of the board, community members, Coatesville Area School District employees, and students. Tonight, we have a presentation from Dr. Salato from Reeseville Elementary School, who's going to share some information and give an update on the STEM program. Nikki, thank you.
Good evening, board, Dr. Dunlap, administration, parents, staff, and community members. Tonight's presentation from Reeseville Elementary School is on our STEM program. And although I'm not going to say too much because the video says it all, we did not have students come tonight because, as one of the representatives said, we are in the midst of PSSA testing, and tomorrow is day 3 of English Language Arts. So I allowed the students to stay home tonight so they didn't have to be here. So without further ado, our video on the STEM program at Reeseville Elementary School.
So we did an experiment to learn about our finger bones. So which hand are you using? Put it up high. Take all the pins off. The other hand goes behind your back. We're going to have 20 seconds, and we're going to see how many pins we can put in the board. Ready, set, go. 20 seconds. And then we're going to make one change. In an experiment, you make a change, and you see what happens because of the change. Okay, let's see. All right, that's it. And now we're going to do the second part of the experiment. You can see we made a change. Hold up your fingers. So we taped our fingers. So now it's like we only have one bone in each finger. And we're going to try this pegboard activity again. All right, 20 seconds on the clock. Hand behind your back. And go. Is it harder?
Yes. I think I'm going to only get 2 in.
Oh my goodness.
I think I can do this. You got it, Celine.
Salim, you only have one bone in each finger. And stop. There we go. All right, let's count them up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Did you get more or less?
Less.
How many did you get this time, Raziel?
1, 2, 3.
Did you get more or less?
Less.
Salim, how many did you get?
1.
Why was that so hard, Salim?
Because I was trying to put it in, and it would keep slipping on my hand.
Oh, so do you think there's a reason we have so many bones in our finger?
Yeah.
What do we have to do with our hands?
Move them around.
Move them, so we have a lot of bones. Graders, and we learned about animal adaptations. We did a whole experiment on beaks and how different beaks are adapted for different kinds of food. So we'll show you kind of what we did. All right, guys, show me your spoon beaks. All right, and let's look at all the different kinds of food. Let's try to eat toothpick food. Can you get any toothpicks? Try to get toothpicks. Can you get toothpicks? All right, try to get straws. Can you get any straws?
Oh, I just have one.
No? What about marbles? Oh, you got one straw. What about marbles? Oh, yeah. What type of food is the spoon beak best adapted for? And at the end, we had to adapt our shoes. So these boys adapted their shoe for the African savanna, and we'll look at that. And this crew over here adapted their shoe for the Amazon jungle or rainforest. All right, so show us your shoe. Show me your locomotion adaptation. Why did you add this tail? What did that help do?
So it can make it fast.
Faster, like a cheetah has a tail to keep it running straight when it's going so fast. Wait, what are those things on the bottom?
Spring.
Ah, do animals in the savannah have to run really fast?
Yes.
So those springs help them go fast?
So they don't get eaten.
That's right. What is that?
It's a tail to make it go faster and climb.
Okay, yeah, so it's for locomotion. Where would the monkey be climbing? Where would a monkey tail go?
A tree to swing across the branches.
Very good. And what about, did you have camouflage, Mia?
Yes.
Oh,
Like some grass. And there are feathers on the wings.
Oh, yeah, and you gave it wings. Why would you need wings? Because there's a lot of?
And predators.
A lot of predators.
And also, it also says that it's poisonous.
Oh, yeah, the bright colors. Mia, tell us about that. What do bright colors mean?
It means you're poisonous and don't eat me.
Robert, show us the poison dart frog in the picture.
Here, get a poison frog. operators, and we have learned a lot about energy.
So it goes from electrical to mechanical when the motor spins. And there's magnets inside the motor.
But generators are the opposite. They take mechanical and turn it to electrical, as you can see here. So spinning it, it turns from mechanical to electrical to light. Then it turns from electrical, it turns from mechanical to electrical to sound.
All right, so you want to try the series circuit with just one battery?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 3 bulbs in series. Oh, hold it up. It might be on a little tiny bit. It's
Kind of see it.
so dim. And that's with one battery.
It's because the battery doesn't have enough power. It just won't.
No, so we're going to have to use 2. So we'll use 2 batteries. Is that any brighter now?
Yeah, you could see it.
A little bit brighter. So it takes 2 batteries, so 3 volts in a series circuit. So show them the series. It's just a circle with 3 batteries. Now, what happens if one battery goes out? Go ahead, Peyton. Peyton's going to unscrew one. If one bulb goes out,
then the rest go out.
They all go out.
And it looks like a snowman.
All right. So we just try with one battery. You got it? Let's see. Okay, let's look at the bulbs. So now, can we see them?
You can kind of see them.
Let's see. So with one,
It doesn't, it's like much dimmer with just one battery.
yep, one battery, but it's still as bright as the series circuit with 2 batteries, I would say. And now let's put 2 batteries in, so 3 volts.
And then it's much brighter.
Let's get it so we can see. Much brighter. And what if we unscrew the one again, Peyton? Unscrew the middle one. So in a parallel circuit, the other bulbs will stay lit, and they're also much brighter.
So the gas is chemical energy. When it ignites, it turns to heat energy. Then the heat turns to mechanical energy. That's all for now. Goodbye. This is the code for the engine back in the back here. It made the costume repeat forever. This is the code for Avery here.
So mostly say blocks and then recording your voice to talk over the say blocks. So the purple are say blocks where the speech bubbles come up, and then the play sounds, you recorded your voice.
Hi, my name is Hip. The energy in food is converted from the sun's radiant energy. Only plants can convert sunlight into food.
So that's showing the radiant energy from the sun, giving its energy, converting to chemical energy in food. Oh, the chomp. That's cool.
Okay, so we go to the sun, and then we go to costumes, and then, yeah, you have to draw the lines for it to go to the food, and then it just goes like this. And then it just goes like that.
That's cool.
Fifth grade's up next. This is our experience with robotics.
The robots look something like this. In the first module, each team built a robot. It had 2 motors. There's one of them. It had a color sensor, see it up front, and a touch LED. We also used bumper sensors. Some parts are tricky, but we all work together.
Here's one of the robots that helped clean up the nuclear waste in Fukushima. In our first challenge, we used remote controls to remove the green blocks. If the colored sensor saw red, the robot would disable from the radioactive water.
It was harder than it looked.
This was our second module, which was an autonomous module where we had to code a set of instructions for the robots. This was part of the module. You had to deliver the corresponding blocks to the corresponding areas with the robot only using codes and no remote controls.
As you can see, the STEM program is alive and well at Reeseville. Our students love it. It's very hands-on. We have over 40 children that are involved in the STEM program after school. We also have close to 60 students that are involved in our garden club that meets on 2 separate days because we had so much interest. And last year we donated over 40 pounds of food to the Chester County Food Bank in the beds that we have in the center of Reeseville. So if you're ever out, come visit and you can have a bite of a tomato or some peppers. We're growing basil right now, and our lettuce is delicious. So anytime you're over, come and visit. Thank you all, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Recently, some concerns on social media have been going on around about the English and Language Arts program, Wit and Wisdom. I asked our administrator on assignment, Cassandra Jones, if she could share some information with me, as Cassandra has been doing many different things in the district, working with our teachers and administrators around the English language arts curriculum. I asked her if she could put some thoughts together for me about really an overview of the process and how did we get here with Wit and Wisdom and the justification for this program, and to give the board and the community an update. When we first started this meeting tonight, Mr. Fisher read the mission statement, and in that mission statement, it talks about the Coatesville Area School District being rich in diversity and committed to excellence, and ensuring that all students become responsible and contributing global citizens. We take a look at this Wit and Wisdom program. Wit and Wisdom is a comprehensive K-8 English language arts curriculum. And as I said, giving credit where credit is due, Cassandra Jones put 98% of what I'm reading to you together for me tonight to share. This district has chosen to adopt Wit and Wisdom as a core resource in grades 6 and 7. The district will be piloting the resource in 8th grade during the 22-23 school year. Wit and Wisdom is a top-rated program, earning strong reviews from the following states: Massachusetts, Louisiana, Tennessee, as well as Ed Reports and the Johns Hopkins School of Education. Parent advocacy groups have mostly expressed concern regarding the K-5 program, which we did not consider for adoption. A separate program, Open Court Reading, has been adopted in grades K through 5. The district followed a rigorous and highly transparent process aligned with the district policy and best practices. A committee of district employees vetted several programs in the spring of 2021. The team relied on independent evaluations or reviews of the programs being considered, alignment to current reading research, the Reading League curriculum evaluation tool, and information gathered during program demonstrations and overviews. At the middle school level, it was determined that a small group of teachers would pilot Wit and Wisdom as well as Amplify ELA. A formal proposal was submitted to the board during the summer of 2021. Implementation began at the start of the 21-22 school year. Parents of students in pilot classrooms were informed of the pilot via initial teacher communication at the start of the school year, as well as at back-to-school night. A parent letter was sent home with students at the start of each module, informing parents of the core and supplemental texts that would be read, the essential question that would be addressed throughout, as well as ways in which families could support student learning at home. In accordance with our district assessment calendar, all students in grades 6 and 7 were given the Acadience Reading Assessment in the fall and then again in the winter. As part of the pilot and evaluation process, data was analyzed to determine overall program effectiveness. Students that were receiving instruction using the Wit and Wisdom program performed better overall in comparison to the other pilot program and current district curriculum, and showed more growth, especially those that started the year below or well below benchmark. Now, I want to share some quantitative reference material with you. And this is such a positive indicator of the work that our teachers are doing, bringing these programs forward that's aligned to standards in the classroom. In grade 6, 95% of students that scored on or above benchmark in the fall remained on or above benchmark in the winter. 59% of students that scored below benchmark in the fall moved to on or above benchmark in the winter. 32% of students that scored well below benchmark in the fall moved to below or on or above benchmark in the winter. In grade 7, through Wit and Wisdom, 100% of the students that scored on or above benchmark in the fall remained on or above benchmark in the winter. A minimum of 24% of students moved one or more indicators based on Gate 1 performance. I will say to you that this work that the district is starting to do, you are going to see these results coming in other forms of assessment down the road. Following the testing, staff and parents were surveyed to determine their overall satisfaction with the Wit and Wisdom program, as well as Amplify ELA. Staff utilizing Wit and Wisdom expressed the highest level of overall satisfaction, 10 out of 10, citing text quality and complexity, knowledge building, and strong instructional routines as areas of strength. While parent participation in the survey was lower than expected, parents that did complete the survey expressed high overall satisfaction. In February, a committee of district staff met to evaluate the pilot programs. A multi-prong approach was utilized. The committee considered alignment to research, alignment to standards, independent evaluations and reviews, supports for all learners, professional development, stakeholder feedback, program effectiveness, and cost. During the discussion, no concerns regarding the core text or program content were shared by Wit and Wisdom pilot teachers. The team determined that Wit and Wisdom was the best program for our district and students. All documents related to the evaluation of Wit and Wisdom and Amplify ELA are posted on the district website for public view via the Educational Services page. Now here's a little info on Wit and Wisdom and CRT. Cognitive science shows that reading and comprehension depends far more on how much knowledge a reader has about the topic than on abstract skills. The more general knowledge you have, the better you do on reading tests, and often in life. Students who acquire more knowledge about the world, usually outside of school, from their better educated and higher income families, have an advantage academically and overall. To narrow the achievement gap between students at the top and bottom of the socioeconomic scale, we need to immerse all children, especially those from low-income families, in content-rich curriculum. We need to strategically build vocabulary, background knowledge, and critical literacy skills. Wit and Wisdom is based on a core belief that children need to have a stock of general knowledge to succeed in life. Even if a student has basic reading or writing skills, he or she will be held back without an understanding of facts about history or science or the world of the arts and literature. The books in the curriculum open young learners' eyes and teach them about the events and inventions that shaped our nation. Books are carefully chosen to match different ages and grade levels and include award-winning books from contemporary and established authors. Parents will recognize the stories, facts, and life lessons in the curriculum from their own previous schooling. The books included in the Wit and Wisdom curriculum were chosen for their ability to engage students through complex stories that challenge them to reach their full potential and prepare them for the real world. They align with the age range recommended by the publishers and are beloved by families across the country and for generations. Is Wit and Wisdom critical race theory? We understand the concerns and questions on this issue, but the much-loved books in Wit and Wisdom do not teach the academic concept known as critical race theory. Books in the curriculum, many of which have been read for years, teach the basic facts about the main events in American history, both the good and the bad. Rather than sugarcoating history, the books teach students about different experiences and perspectives, building a shared understanding of our past, building a shared understanding of one another, and how to do better moving forward. Materials are tailored to different age levels with great care taken when it comes to how and at what point difficult or sensitive topics are introduced. Now, there are some additional steps that the district can take to ensure transparency and parental involvement. And over the course of time, we can have a copy of each core text and teacher's edition available for public review, either at the admin building or in each building. And we can also post core and supplemental text lists on the website and include topics and texts and books and responses. I do have a copy here of this information that I just mentioned, and I was able to review it, and I do believe that this is something that we should be doing just for transparency so that members of the community can see where this curriculum is going and what it's really trying to do. Help teach kids how to read. Members of the board, this concludes the superintendent's report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dunlap, and well said. Moving on to agenda item 7B, important dates. May 10th, 2022 at 6:00 p.m. All committees and special meeting, Coatesville Area Senior High School Auditorium. May 24th, 2022, 7:00 p.m. School Board meeting, Coatesville Area Senior High School Auditorium. Agenda item 8A, special reports. 2022-2023 School District Budget Update. Dr. Dunlap and Ms. Lori Diefendorfer.
Good evening again, and school board directors and community members. Tonight, we want to continue to give you a brief update on our preliminary budget for the 2022-2023 school year. You can go to the next slide, please. As you can see, we have shared by this chart and on previous numerous occasions, this has been our roadmap for developing our budget. As we go through the steps, we project the number of students that we are going to have based on enrollments and birth rates. We determine our personnel requirements of how much staff we need to be able to support the students through the programs and initiatives that we are offering. Taking all that information into account to include all of the costs to support these programs that not only support our students but our employees as well, we estimate those expenditures like you see in step number 3. We then look at our estimate revenues in step 4. And there we take a look at the money that we are receiving on a federal level, on a state level, and on a local level through tax bills that are paid to the district. Once we have that information, we then balance a budget and present that to the board for approval. Now, we have considered a number of options that we've been working through our preliminary budget on how to balance this budget. We've taken a look at ARP and ESSER's funding to see what areas can help offset the budget as it relates to COVID-19. Second, We look to see if there are options for adding or reducing programming, and if so, which ones can we reduce that have the least impact on student achievement, and which types of programs can we add or bring back to help reduce spending to outside organizations. We will continue to add new programs. The next area we look at is staffing. Unfortunately, we cannot exclude this option in balancing our budget. Since this is such a crucial piece of the budget, we must really weigh these options with the impact that it will have on student achievement. We want to keep this option as minimal of an option as possible. Finally, we must consider property tax increases, which we know that could be as high as 4.4%. based on the Act 1 index. At this time, we are leaning towards a 4.4% property tax increase. But as we shared at our last meeting, we will continue to explore this option, subject to change, as we continue to work on our final budget adoption. This includes trying to reduce the 4.4% to a lower number.
So next, what we have here are preliminary expense projections. As previously shared, these are very high level for 22-23. We will continue to review our estimated expenditures between now and our final budget adoption in June. As it currently stands, salaries and benefits are projected at approximately $71.1 million. Support of other schools, which includes charter schools, VOTEC, and approved private schools, is projected at approximately $67 million. Transportation is projected at approximately $9.2 million. Special education cost is approximately $16.1 million. Other spending, which includes areas such as facilities, technology, building budgets, and athletics, is projected at around $13.4 million. Debt and legal is approximately $17.9 million, which is significantly higher than last year as a result of our increase in debt by $9.3 million. Total projected expenses is approximately $195 million.
If we could just back up to that slide, please. Yep. If you take a look at the salaries and benefits and support, and then take a look at the column of support of other schools, the work that our teachers are doing is really starting to take hold, and you're starting to see some gains. And I just mentioned minor gains through wit and wisdom. But imagine of what this district would be able to do if you took that column of support to other schools or of other schools and was able to put that back in to this school district. That's where there's going to be tremendous gains, and that's where there's going to be money to do a lot other things with, and that's what we have to keep working on to improve, to have families choose to come here to this school district and put that 60% back into salaries and benefits. When you compare that to other districts, a lot of districts are much higher with their salaries and benefits with their staff than our district is.
Thank you. So next we have is our preliminary revenue projections for 22-23 based on our funding sources. We have projected local revenues to be approximately $126.5 million based on our current millage rate of 39.691. We are currently looking at increasing this millage rate by the adjusted Act 1 index of 4.4%. We have not reflected that number here tonight since that is not a final decision. Next is we have projected our state revenues to come in around the same level as last year at approximately $54.1 million. These numbers will potentially change as the state budget gets adopted, but for now, we wanted to keep them at the same level. And then finally, we have our federal resources projected at approximately $10.3 million. So based on our preliminary numbers, we have a budget gap of about $4.1 million that we need to close in order to balance our budget for final adoption on June 14th.
So as I said earlier, our options to consider, I mentioned property tax increases. Our current millage rate before any increase is 39.691, And we know based on the Act 1 adjusted index, it can possibly go up between 0% and 4.4%. At this stage in the budget process, we are looking at a potential tax increase of 4.4%, which would take our millage rate to 41.437. Now, what does that mean for the average family? If we continue with that 4.4%, that comes out to about $19 a month that families would have to pay in taxes. Add that up to 12 months, it's around $230 that, on average, that families would have to pay. As I stated, we want to reduce that 4.4% between now and the final budget adoption in June. And we are going to continue to work as best we can to reduce that 4.4% increase. This budget timeline that you're looking at right now reflects key dates, and tonight the board is going to adopt the preliminary budget. Again, these are preliminary numbers, and we will continue to work on balancing the budget for final adoption on June 14th. May 25th is the final budget available for inspection by the public. June 3rd is public notice of the intent to adopt the final budget, and the night of June 14th is when the board plans to adopt the final budget. Any questions from board members on this preliminary budget? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dunlap and Ms. Diefendorfer. Moving on to agenda item 9A, adoption of consent agenda. Recommended motion that the Board of School Directors approve the consent agenda items. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Committee meeting action items considered routine will be enacted under one motion unless removed for separate action upon board request. The purpose of the consolidated motion is to expedite governing board action on all consent items which are not held for discussion. Items that have been held for discussion by the governing board will be enacted upon at the time the item is discussed. From this evening's agenda, I would like to remove the following agenda items from consent agenda. Starting with number 10, finance. I would like to remove agenda letter A, financial statements. Agenda item B, approval of the 2022-23 Chester County Intermediate Unit Core Services budget. Agenda item C, approval of the 22-23 Chester County Intermediate Unit Occupational Education budget. Letter D, Building Authority Resolution, appointment of new members. Letter F, preliminary budget adoption and notice of special meeting. Letter O, resolution, petition for school police officer Patrick Meehan. And finally, agenda item P, human resources report. In a quick review, that's under finance, agenda items A, B, C, D, F, O, and P. Moving on to agenda 11, education. I would like to remove from consent agenda all the proposed adjudications. That would be letters D, E, F, G, and H. Again, for removal from consent agenda under education, agenda items D, E, F, G, and H. To my colleagues, are there any other items that you wish to have removed from consent agenda this evening? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, I will ask if you call the vote, please.
Holly Charest?
Yes.
Rob Fisher?
Yes.
Carvel Brown?
Yes.
Andrew Finkbonner?
Yes.
Brandon Roan?
Yes.
Mary Ann Harris? Yes. Amelia Mills?
Yes.
Becky Harlan?
Yes.
Jennifer Schott?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Chairman Finkbonner, Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. First up is letter A, financial statements. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the financial statements bills payables list as presented. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll call for a vote.
Andrew Finkbeiner,
Yes.
Mary Ann Harris, Brandon Roan,
Yes.
Harvell Brown,
Yes.
Becky Harlan,
Yes.
Holly Charest,
Yes.
Rob Fisher,
Yes.
Jennifer Schott.
Yes.
Jen, you'll have to abstain. Thank you. Amelia Mills.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Letter B, approval of the 2022-2023 Chester County Intermediate Unit Core Services Budget. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the 2022-2023 Chester County Intermediate Unit Core Services Budget in the amount of $33,173,390, of which the Coatesville Area School District's projected contribution is $47,445 as presented. Do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Finkbeiner, I ask this to be removed from consent agenda for a roll call vote, which is required, as well as the next agenda item C.
Noted, thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll call for a vote.
Mary Ann Harris. Becky Harlan.
Yes.
Amelia Mills.
Yes.
Andrew Finkbeiner.
Yes.
Harvell Brown.
Yeah.
Jennifer Schott.
Yes.
Holly Charest.
Yes.
Rob Fisher.
Yes.
Brandon Roan.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Letter C, approval of the 2022-2023 Chester County Intermediate Occupational Education Budget. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the 2022-2023 Chester County Intermediate Unit Occupational Education Budget in the amount of $30,361,289, of which the Coatesville Area School District's contribution is $3,166,988 as presented. Do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll call for a vote.
Brandon Roan.
Yes.
Becky Harlan.
Yes.
Rob Fisher.
Yes.
Andrew Finkbeiner.
Yes.
Jennifer Schott.
Yes.
Harvell Brown.
Yes.
Amelia Mills.
Yes.
Holly Charest.
Yes.
Mary Ann Harris. Motion approved.
Letter D, Building Authority Resolution, Appointment of New Members. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the resolution for the Coatesville Area School District Building Authority to appoint Andrew Finkbeiner, Amelia Mills, and Jennifer Schott to the Building Authority and to constitute and confirm the board as presented. Do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Finkbeiner, I ask this to be removed from consent agenda in case there were any additional questions or concerns, as well as roll call vote.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fisher. As a point of reference and clarity, will the individuals that currently are residing on this board during the roll call vote, are we to abstain from this vote given that we'll be voting for ourselves? Okay, noted, thank you. Just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll call for a vote.
Amelia Mills.
Yes.
Holly Charest.
Yes.
Becky Harlan.
Yes.
Mary Ann Harris. Jennifer Schott.
Yes.
Rob Fisher.
Yes.
Brandon Roan.
Yes.
Andrew Finkbeiner.
Yes.
Harvell Brown.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Letter F, Preliminary Budget Adoption and Notice of Special Meeting. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the resolution adopting the preliminary budget for the 2022-2023 fiscal year and the Notice of Special Meeting for June 14, 2022 in accordance with Act 1 of 2006 as presented. Do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments?
Mr. Finkbeiner, I removed this from consent agenda to first and foremost remind the public that this is a preliminary budget and that there is still much work to be done between now and the time the final adoption of the budget takes place in June. In addition, for the purpose of a roll call vote.
Noted, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll call for a vote.
Amelia Mills.
Yes.
Jennifer Schott. Yes. Holly Charest.
Yes.
Rob Fisher.
Yes.
Andrew Finkbeiner.
Yes.
Becky Harlan.
Yes.
Harvell Brown.
Yes.
Mary Ann Harris. Brandon Roan.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Letter O, Resolution Petition for School Police Officer Patrick Meehan. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the resolution as presented and authorize Landmacher Lane PC to initiate and prosecute a petition under 24 7-778 in the name of the school district seeking the appointment by the Court of Common Pleas of Chester County of Mr. Patrick Meehan as a school police officer for the school district. Hereby, Mr. Meehan will be authorized to exercise the above described powers and duties and carry a firearm in the course of his duties as a school police officer, provided the school board authorizes or directs Mr. Meehan to carry a firearm in the course of his duties. Do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments?
Again, Mr. Finkbeiner, for the purposes of a roll call vote.
And we'll call for a vote.
Harvell Brown,
Yes.
Andrew Finkbeiner,
Yes.
Amelia Mills,
Yes.
Jennifer Schott, Mary Ann Harris, Brandon Roan,
Yes.
Becky Harlan,
Yes.
Holly Charest,
Yes.
Rob Fisher.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Letter P, Human Resources Report. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the resignations, appointments, new positions, leave of absence, transfers, change of status, and corrections as presented. Do we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments?
Before we call for the vote, Mr. Finkbeiner, I would like to call everyone's attention to Human Resources Agenda Item 1, letter A, sub 1. It is with great regret that tonight our school board will accept the resignation of Linda Hicks. Ms. Hicks is an elementary teacher who has served our school district for almost 27 years. And it is with personal observation that I have seen the dedication that Ms. Hicks has exhibited towards our students, as well as the positive influence that she has had on many, many students and families. So as I always say, Mrs. Hicks, this is your time now. Please enjoy, well-deserved, and we wish you a safe, healthy, and happy retirement. Thank you, Mr. Finkbeiner.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. We'll call for a vote.
Jennifer Schott,
Yes.
Brandon Roan,
Yes.
Andrew Finkbeiner,
Yes.
Rob Fisher,
Yes.
Becky Harlan,
Yes.
Holly Charest,
Yes.
Mary Ann Harris, Harvell Brown,
Yes.
Amelia Mills.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Ms. Mills, Education Committee.
11D, proposed adjudication, student 100-10244. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the proposed student adjudication for student 100-10244. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Becky Harlan,
Yes.
Harvell Brown,
No.
Amelia Mills,
Yes.
Holly Charest,
Yes.
Rob Fisher,
Yes.
Andrew Finkbeiner,
Yes.
Jennifer Schott,
Yes.
Brandon Roan,
Yes.
Mary Ann Harris. Motion approved.
E, proposed adjudication, student 100-4169. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the proposed student adjudication for student 100-4169. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Becky Harlan,
Yes.
Mary Ann Harris. Yes. Harvell Brown,
No.
Holly Charest,
No.
Rob Fisher,
Yes.
Andrew Finkbeiner,
No.
Jennifer Schott. No. Brandon Roan,
No.
Amelia Mills.
Yes.
Motion denied.
F, proposed adjudication, student 100-6929. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the proposed student adjudication for student 100-6929. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Holly Charest,
No.
Rob Fisher,
No.
Jennifer Schott. No. Andrew Finkbeiner,
No.
Brandon Roan,
No.
Harvell Brown,
No.
Amelia Mills,
Yes.
Becky Harlan,
No.
Mary Ann Harris. Motion denied.
G, proposed adjudication student 100008750. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the proposed student adjudication for student 100008750. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Call for the vote?
Andrew Finkbonner,
No.
Mary Ann Harris,
Yes.
Amelia Mills,
Yes.
Marvell Brown,
No.
Becky Harlan,
No.
Holly Charest,
No.
Rob Fisher,
No.
Jennifer Schott,
No.
Brandon Roan.
No.
Motion denied.
H, proposed adjudication student 100009848. Recommended action that the Board of School Directors approve the proposed student adjudication for student 100009848. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Call for the vote?
Andrew Finkbonner,
Yes.
Mary Ann Harris, Brandon Roan,
Yes.
Amelia Mills,
Yes.
Becky Harlan,
Yes.
Holly Charest,
Yes.
Marvell Brown,
Yes.
Jennifer Schott,
Yes.
Rob Fisher.
Yes.
Motion approved.
And I believe that takes care of all of our agenda items removed from consent agenda this evening. So we will move on to agenda item 14A, public comment. The board has requested that all persons making comments of public concern to list their names, address, telephone number, and topics on the sheet provided. There is a 3-minute time limit per person. Nina Ortiz.
I'm standing here for support. Did you? Okay, she's asking me to start. So we have her son's adjudication. And the concern is, there are several concerns.
Ms. Shannon Bailey, before you go any further, I have to remind you that we should not be discussing any details of student adjudications in a public setting. So
Okay.
you certainly, she certainly has the right to contact administration and ask any questions or have any concerns, answers that she had. But I have to remind you before it accidentally happens that we should not be referring to any details of any student adjudication in a public meeting.
Okay, Mr. Fisher, with due respect, so when I contacted administration to get this, my email was ignored. I had a signed consent, which was ignored. So the administration ignored its own policy in terms of a release of information. So I don't mind. I mean, if you give me a name of somebody that we can meet with.
I will say to you with the utmost confidence that now that Dr. Dunlap is aware, that he will address your concern.
Dr. Dunlap was on the email. So do I email him again, or do I call him, or how do you want us to proceed?
There are certain things that our administrators have a right to speak about and certain things that they cannot speak about. Without knowing the details, I would ask, again, that you please have a conversation with Dr. Dunlap. Dr. Dunlap, is that okay by you?
We will certainly do that.
Mhm.
However, this lady wishes to make some comments. You all typically don't respond to comments anyway. So it's really not me, it's this lady. So if you're saying that she can't.
She is certainly welcome to make comments. What I'm asking is that we don't give any details of any adjudication.
Okay. Don't give any details of any adjudications.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know how we can make a comment.
May I suggest that you have conversation with Dr. Dunlap And then after you have that conversation, Dr. Dunlap, if you think it's something that Ms. Ortiz can come back and present to the board, we will certainly listen. I just don't want any confidential information be given in a public setting.
Well, her son is 18 years old. I mean, he's not a child, but I hear what you're saying. I'm not happy about this. But I'm not going to argue with you. I respect you as well. But in the beginning, you said she had to wait until after the meeting, and we took your guidance and we waited, and now you're saying.
Well, I asked at first to wait till the end of the meeting because it wasn't an agenda item.
Okay, and we waited.
Okay.
And we waited.
Okay. Unfortunately, Ms. Shannon Bailey, I have a job to do. And that job, one of those jobs is to protect the students and any confidentiality information.
And unfortunately, I have a job as an advocate to do as well.
I understand.
So,
I would ask that you have a conversation with
Okay.
Dr. Dunlap and we'll go from
I
there.
will be happy to do that.
Thank
And
you.
we will be back at the next board meeting.
Thank
And
you.
we'll keep trying until we can get our
Greatly
answers
appreciate it. Greatly
done.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ms. Jacks.
She left, but her nephew was here. I've been advised to stand with him.
And that's fine. And this is Shamir Jackson, correct?
Yes.
Good evening, Shamir.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Samir Jackson. I'm in the 9th grade. My favorite subject is math. When I graduate from CASD, I want to go to college. My question is, how do I make up my schoolwork from my 10-day out-of-school suspension? How do I make up my schoolwork from my 10 days out-of-school suspension?
Did you still not hear?
What you're saying is that you're suspended from school and you want to know how to make up your work. So while students are out on suspension, teachers will make arrangements for students to pick up work, for parents to pick up work for students.
But I haven't had any of that the past 10 days that I've been suspended.
You'll have to have a conversation with the building administration and make sure that there's arrangements made so you make up the work.
Who would that be? He's in the 9th grade.
Mr. Malone.
Okay. So call Mr. Maloney and.
I'll take care of that tomorrow.
Okay. Do you have any more questions? Okay.
That's it.
Okay, great.
Shamir, thank you. And I believe that is public comment for this evening. Moving on to agenda item 15, are there any additional board members' reports? At this time, I would like to publicly mention that I had the opportunity to attend the National Junior Honor Society induction ceremony last week at the 8-9 Center. 123 or 26, I forget the exact number, 120 some of our young scholars were inducted into the Junior National Honor Society. So as I said that evening, I'd like to give kudos to, first and foremost, their teachers for putting them in that position, to their parents and family for embracing the support of their education, as well as the administration for a very detailed and fine presentation last Tuesday night. So it was a great evening and obviously one of the highlights of being a school board director. So thank you for the administrators who put that on. And again, thank you to all who have supported those 123 students in their educational endeavors. Any other additional board members' reports this evening? Agenda item 16, there are informational items which deal with ARs for policy. They're there for your reading. So at this time, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Second. We will adjourn at 8:12 p.m.
This is the ones you have to sign.